I mean, you must be exhausted. I know I am. I think our imagination...
Max?
Horror's a much bigger genre, I think, than people think. It's a really visceral emotion to be able to portray and to evoke. And with the new medium of interactive narrative, horror's a really kind of it's like a go-to to start off with. I love horror, so personally for me it's what I've always wanted to do. But for us as a studio, it's a really, really good area to kind of start that stuff off. That doesn't mean we're going to stick with it forever, but it does mean that that's I think certainly our bread and butter at the moment.
Are we like in a movie right now?
If we are, I hope it's a rom-com.
Originally, it was a PS3 game with a Move controller, and it was a high narrative story in there, but a lot of the mechanic was the PS3 Move. When we got to Gamescom, a lot of feedback was that people wanted to be able to play it without that, but also the actual kind of narrative side of it was really, really strong. So we remade it for the PS4. So it took a lot longer than we thought. The process of putting that stuff together was very much, we were finding our way in the dark a little bit. We've now kind of, I think, nailed that. The biggest thing, I think, was the kind of the teen horror feel. So Until Dawn was definitely very, very much on purpose. It wasn't cliche, but we kind of definitely pushed it towards the stereotype of teen horror. We're doing the exact same thing on this. There's a level of humor in there, there's a lightness. It's like a date movie kind of thing. It's Friday the 13th. It's not dark horror, it's more humorous, I think. And that's the biggest thing I think we're taking across. Teen horror and creature feature was 2 for Until Dawn. We've gone to 4. We've definitely pushed it to kind of the more classic teen horrors that we could think of. And we've got 4 of them together and we go, okay, Until Dawn meets and then we go away and write a screenplay. We write like a full, like a movie screenplay, 100-page screenplay. We have all of our characters in there. We can develop our character styles. Once we've got that, then we can start looking at how we break that out into a full 10-hour experience. I think we really wanted to kind of push that level of relationships down further than we did in Until Dawn. All the choices are not just the choices about what you do to kind of stay alive, they're also what you do with other people and how you relate to other people. And those things also then affect how you play the game, and also just the whole of your story as you go through it. A big part of it is just the expectation that people now have when it comes to what would you do in a choice. We try to be as honest as we can, literally, to be able to go, okay, we don't want to kind of cheat anybody in a choice. It's got to be, if I choose that, I've got to legitimately expect what I've chosen to have that outcome. And even if it's bad, when you think back on it, you think, oh yeah, maybe I should have thought of that. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of really, really working that stuff out. I think that's a really big thing that we've moved forward. And a large part of it is the process now. We've got a lot more iterative in the way that we design the game. So when we write the script and we start putting it together in a design, we can play it through and iterate it in a way that means that we're not having to go all the way into actual production before we kind of find that stuff out. So I think it's a lot more sophisticated now. We've developed our own tool here in studio at Supermassive that allows us to put a storyboard together, the script together, to be able to play it at any time, to be able to block it all out and then take that on the shoot. But also on the technical side of just the performance capture, we've really, really jumped way ahead of where we used to be, just in terms of nuance and delicacy, scans of the characters. We've got a stellar cast, and we wanted to be able to capture them and their acting skills and their ability to be able to kind of portray that stuff as closely as possible. So we've really, really pushed on that as well. Until Dawn was 7 years ago, so the technology has come forward a massive amount. There's a company in California, in Los Angeles, called Digital Domain. They're the guys that did Thanos for the Avengers. They had developed an amazing facial capture and animation system. It uses machine learning, so it's not actually animated. So we went there and scanned all our actors. Then Digital Domain basically take that and they have scans of all the different kind of expressions that that actor can make. And then when we film them, they have obviously little dots on their face, and their big AI system goes and interprets their performance and takes all the shapes from the library of shapes that they've got and then mixes that together and does a kind of a full performance capture. It's extraordinary. It's as close to the real actor as we can get. We went to them not because they've done games before, but because they do film. That's what we were after. We were trying to get it as close to film as possible, and they rose to the challenge.
Honey, you really want to listen to the advice of some creep-ass cop who told us in the middle of the creep-ass woods to go to some creep-ass hotel?
No, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Let's hit the road, shall we?
That's what I thought.
Ma'am?